If you've been wondering what really happened between Victoria Beckham and Meghan Markle, what pushed one of the most composed women in Britain to finally break her silence, then stay exactly where you are. Because this isn't just another celebrity feud. This is a story that begins with friendship, loyalty, and quiet support, and ends with betrayal, humiliation, and one of the most talked about public reckonings the fashion and royal worlds have ever seen. For decades, Victoria Beckham had been the very definition of restraint. The woman who could turn scandal into silence, who never flinched when headlines tried to rattle her. She'd built an empire out of elegance, not emotion, the kind of poise that made even her critics respect her. Whether she was posh spice, commanding the stage, or a fashion powerhouse redefining British luxury, Victoria's image was always under perfect control. The tabloids tried for years to break her, the Beckham rumors, the industry politics, the constant scrutiny, but she never lost her composure. And then, out of nowhere, that changed. It happened on a night meant to celebrate success, not ignite chaos. A London charity gala glittering with chandeliers, polished champagne glasses, and the hum of aristocratic laughter. Victoria Beckham was there to present an award to a young designer, a mentor, a style icon, a woman admired for her grace. Cameras flashed, dresses shimmered, and then mid-speech, something in her tone shifted. Her voice turned colder, her face hardened. She set her hand firmly on the podium, scanned the room, and fixed her gaze on a journalist who'd been trailing her stories for years. And then she said it, 7 words that would ripple across the world by morning. I kept quiet too long. People need to know what she did. The room froze. Conversations stopped mid-whisper. You could almost hear the flicker of camera bulbs dying out as everyone processed what had just happened. No one asked who she was, they didn't need to. Every single person in that glittering hall knew exactly who Victoria was talking about. Meghan Markle. Within minutes, a shaky phone video of that exact moment hit the internet. It was only 11 seconds long, just enough to show the steel in Victoria's eyes, but it spread like wildfire. By sunrise, it had over 4 million views. Twitter was chaos. Instagram stories were filled with clips of Victoria's voice echoing those fateful words. Victoria Beckham just ended Meghan Markle's PR fairy tale, one user wrote. Another said, this is the most elegant takedown in history. And just like that, the woman who had once been the queen of silence became the queen of truth. But to understand why that single line hit so hard, you have to go back to the beginning, to when Victoria Beckham and Meghan Markle weren't enemies, but allies. When Meghan first entered the royal scene, freshly engaged to Prince Harry, she was a Hollywood outsider navigating one of the most ancient and merciless institutions in the world. British high society could be cold, especially to someone the press branded as too American, too ambitious, too different. But one person extended a genuine hand of friendship, Victoria Beckham. Victoria had lived through the brutality of the British tabloids. She knew the sting of gossip headlines and the
Don't you miss that feeling, getting lost in a story that feels like it was written just for you? If your heart needs a little magic, click on the link in I button or in the description or pinned comment. It's waiting at infowebster.com. Go feel something again.
toll it took on families. So she reached out quietly, offering support not as a celebrity, but as a woman who'd survived it all. She introduced Meghan to her inner circle, stylists trusted with discretion, PR teams that could shield her image, spa experts who worked with the most guarded A-listers. She even sent personal fashion pieces to Kensington Palace for Meghan to wear. No contracts, no publicity, just kindness. For a while, it was a beautiful friendship. They were photographed laughing at Wimbledon, whispering between matches like sisters sharing secrets. Victoria's designs began appearing on Meghan's radar. Insiders said Victoria never expected anything in return. She simply wanted Meghan to succeed. To the public, they looked unstoppable. 2 women who'd built their own empires in worlds that rarely favored them. But beneath that polished image, something was shifting. By late 2019, London began buzzing with whispers. Someone close to Meghan was leaking private details, conversations, plans, even travel arrangements directly to the press. At first, the idea seemed impossible. Meghan's circle was tiny, fiercely controlled. But as the speculation grew, one name surfaced again and again: Victoria Beckham. The rumor alone was enough to fracture trust. Meghan reportedly believed Victoria might have been behind the leak. No confrontation, no conversation, just distance. Invitations stopped coming. Messages went unanswered. Victoria, who had once been a mentor and friend, found herself quietly frozen out of Meghan's life. When Meghan and Harry stepped down from royal duties, the Beckhams were completely gone from their circle. No dinners, no photos, no contact. Only silence. Years passed. Victoria said nothing. Meghan said nothing. The tabloids filled in the blanks, but both women kept the facade of civility. Victoria poured herself into her fashion label and family, while Meghan rebuilt her world across the Atlantic. It might have stayed that way forever, two women separated by miles and misunderstanding, if not for one incident that reignited everything. It started with a charity project that meant the world to Victoria. She had spent months planning a fundraiser for children's hospitals, personally investing her time, her name, and her resources. It was meant to be her biggest philanthropic event yet, a night to raise millions for sick children. Meghan Markle was set to co-host, adding royal attention and global visibility. It seemed like a perfect collaboration. But just weeks before the event, something unexpected happened. According to insiders, Meghan abruptly pulled out. The reason? Her team reportedly claimed that Victoria's brand didn't align with the royal image. A leaked email from one of Meghan's aides surfaced soon after, allegedly saying, per Duchess's request, please consider alternative fashion sponsorship. Concerns have been raised about brand alignment and external press narratives. Within days, Victoria's name disappeared from the event entirely. Her donated designs were removed, her early contributions scrubbed. No thank you. No explanation. Just erased. Friends of Victoria described her as humiliated. She had offered everything: her name, her work, her goodwill, and was cast aside as if she didn't measure up to royal standards. That wound, buried under years of grace, was what reopened on that London stage when she said, "I kept quiet too long." It wasn't just about a gala. It was about betrayal dressed as diplomacy. The next day, David Beckham made his own statement, not through interviews or tabloids, but with a photo. A simple family picture of him, Victoria, and their children laughing around a dinner table. The caption read, "Truth always comes out in the end." No tags, no direct mentions. But everyone knew exactly what he meant. The internet exploded again. Fellow celebrities quietly chose sides. One supermodel friend of Victoria's commented with 3 heart emojis. A designer reposted the photo with the caption, "Some mistake kindness for weakness." Meanwhile, Meghan's closest allies, Oprah, Serena Williams even. Harry said nothing. That silence spoke volumes. The Duchess, who had once owned her narrative so masterfully, suddenly seemed cornered by her own quiet. And then came the twist no one saw coming. A 14-second audio clip surfaced online late one night. The voice was calm but edged with ice. "She's lucky I don't say what I know about her." The uploader claimed it was Meghan Markle speaking about Victoria Beckham. The internet went wild. 6 million views overnight. Some argued it was fabricated. Others were convinced it was real. Even Meghan's most loyal supporters didn't know how to defend it. Fan pages started deleting posts, unsure what to believe. Victoria didn't react publicly. No statement, no denial, no shade. But sources close to her told reporters she was disappointed but not surprised. 3 words that carried more weight than any headline. They painted a portrait of a woman who'd seen the worst of people and chosen, again and again, to take the high road, until someone made that impossible. Then came whispers that Victoria was preparing for a full sit-down interview. Not another cryptic quote or polished statement, but an unfiltered conversation about everything: the friendship, the betrayal, and what really happened behind palace walls. One insider said, "She feels people only know half the story. She's ready to tell the rest." The mere possibility of that interview sent shockwaves through Meghan's team. Emergency calls, late-night strategy meetings, legal consultations. But the damage was done. Victoria didn't even have to speak. The world already believed her. The narrative had flipped. By the end of the week, public sentiment was clear. Victoria Beckham, the woman once defined by silence, had become the voice of quiet truth. Meghan Markle, once the untouchable Duchess, was suddenly the one everyone doubted. And David Beckham's line, "Truth always comes out in the end," had become prophecy. What began as a story of two powerful women supporting each other had turned into something deeper, sadder, and far more human. A story about trust and how easily it can shatter. About kindness mistaken for weakness. And about what happens when someone who has spent a lifetime being graceful decides she's finally done protecting the wrong person. As reporters gathered outside her fashion studio days later, one shouted the question everyone wanted answered: why speak now? Victoria paused for a moment, her signature composure intact, then said, "Quietly, I stayed silent because I thought it would protect everyone. But all it did was protect the wrong person." That single line became the headline scene around the world, powerful, precise, and final. Meghan's camp offered no reply. No statements. No denial. Just silence. And in that silence, the world decided who it believed. Because sometimes the truth doesn't need to be shouted. It just needs one calm voice, one steady gaze, and one moment of courage from someone who's been silent for far too long. And on that night in London, Victoria Beckham gave the world exactly that.